Hello everyone, Neil from BookBolt here. Hopefully you guys are having a good day, a good evening, a good night wherever you are in the world. Just clicked on go live here, so we'll give it a little bit for everyone to pop in who was waiting. But I see a few people in the chat. Paula, good morning or good afternoon. Jessica, Gazelle, how are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? If you can hear me all right, making sure my mic is plugged in correctly, drop a comment in the chat just so I know everything is working. All right. Howdy, y'all. Yes, we can hear you. Natalie, Ashley, good morning, good morning. Mama Honeybee, nice to see you again. Perfect. Everything is coming in. So, welcome to our second weekly call. We're doing this one a little bit earlier than we did last week. So, if you guys could just let me know in the chat, do you prefer this time or maybe an hour later? Trying to find out what time works best for everyone so that going forward we can have a consistent time. But these videos, or live streams rather, are here to help you start, grow, and scale a KDP business properly. We really want to figure out where you're getting stuck, help you talk through those issues, get over them, and get to actually publishing, researching, and making money through KDP. So this stream is going to be very, very open-ended. If you guys have any questions about any part of the process, let me know here, and I'll just start going through them. I see everyone is coming in here. Okay, is there going to be a Q&A? Jessica, yeah, the entire point of these live streams is to have you guys bring questions where you go through. We've been sending out some email training, so if you've seen those are usually longer form videos that, are pre-recorded, going step by step through different processes to kind of get you guys to have a large understanding of each piece of the process. And then if you get stuck, write down questions. Every single week, bring your questions, and I will do my best to answer them and get you guys going in the right direction. High noon. High noon is fine with me. This time is good. This time is fine. Okay. So I'm in Mountain Time for anyone who does not know. So right now it's about 10 a.m. where I am. So we're looking at between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. on either Wednesdays or Thursdays. Probably Thursdays, but we haven't actually nailed down a time yet. So I sent out some emails this morning for you guys. So let me know what time works better for you, rather a little bit earlier or a little bit later. But let's go ahead and log in. If you are joining this call every single week, if you don't know where they're hosted, you can't find the video, you just need to go to weekly calls right up here, and they will be in here. We're going to pre-record, or not pre-record, but record everything and then drop them down here so you guys can re-watch anything that we go over, get your questions answered, and, make sure that over time, as we do this every single week, you're going to have a good resource for pretty much everything under the sun. So, do you guys have any questions about KDP, publishing, research, design, anything that I can help with and we can start going over? Just start dropping them in the chat. I'm going to go one by one and we will be here for a little bit. All right, this time is okay. Hi, Pacific time here. This is perfect. Cool, Kim. All right, guys, any questions you have, drop them in the chat. All right, one, can we upload PDFs? Paula, depends on where you are talking about uploading PDFs. So when it comes to KDP, you need to upload a PDF. That's pretty much the one way that you can publish your covers and your interiors. Now, if you're talking about the designer right here, which I already have open, you can't upload PDFs to this currently. I did mention last week we are working on redesigning this, but if you head over to let me go to the home page here. If you go to resources and you're looking to kind of create a custom interior, you can actually click on the interior PDF combiner, and this will accept PDF. So you'd upload a PDF file here, wait till you see a check mark. Once you see a check mark, you can come back here and it will then show up when you add a page. So uploading PDFs to Amazon, pretty much a requirement. Uploading PDFs to the interior generator here, not a requirement, but very, very helpful. Uploading PDFs inside of the designer, currently not available, but that is something we are working on. Custom interior pages. Kim, what about custom interior pages? I have a problem with sizing for puzzles. Jessica, what is your issue with puzzles? I typically find puzzle books do a little bit better with larger sizes, just because, a normal 6x9, little bit small for, an activity book, a puzzle book, something like that. So I usually go, a little bit bigger in here. Right here, 8.5 by 11. There we go. This is what I usually do for puzzle books. But again, that depends on the research you're doing. If you go to Amazon, you see every single puzzle book in the niche is selling really well, and it's a 6x9, then by all means create that type of size. Rosemary, can we watch the ones we have missed? This is my first time. Absolutely. So if you missed that, if you go inside of BookBolt and you log in here, at the very top, you're going to see something that says weekly calls. Just click on that. It'll bring you to this page. And each week we're going to throw up the live video that we're currently doing. So if you hit play here, you're going to hear my voice. But after the live calls, we're going to bring them down here. We see this is the one we did last week. And you can watch through these. They're about an hour long. And we also have 2 webinars we've done in the past. Now, these are a little bit older, but they're quite long. So this one is, 2 hours long, and this one is a little bit over an hour. But they go into a lot of detail on a lot of the process, keywording. I know a lot of people get stuck there. So if you haven't already, if anyone has not seen these 2 webinars, go through these and take notes, because this is really, really going to help you, do your research properly, make sure you're not competing with 10,000 other sellers, which, is always kind of difficult, but also making sure that once you actually create something unique and put it on KDP, you're going to stand the best chance of visibility. All right, let's see here. I'm going to scroll up in the chat, so if I don't get to your question right away, I'm going to go one by one here. Let's see. What is the next step after you've published your first KDP book? That is going to depend on you. So once you publish a KDP book, it's going to take up to 72 hours for it to be quote unquote live. Now, Amazon is going to take a while to properly index your book for the keywords that you put in the title and the back-end keywords. But after you publish your book, I'd give it a few weeks. I wouldn't touch necessarily anything. If you don't see your book popping up right away, number 1, or on the first page, don't be too concerned. Okay, it's very, very, very normal. But I'd give it a few weeks to get properly indexed, make sure everything is working correctly. Me personally, I would start with ads. But that's me knowing that a book will sell. If you have no idea, then I would work on some free marketing techniques, right? Through social media, through Pinterest. But ads are really where you're going to see the quickest results. And when I say results, I don't mean you're going to make a bunch of money right away, but you're going to know if that book is going to sell, right? So if I put up a book, it's live, I start ads, I run maybe $5 to $10 in ads, and nothing converts, I know something might be wrong. Maybe my keywords are bad. Maybe I didn't find a good product market fit. Yes, I spent a little money. Yes, I lost a little money, but right away I know, hey, I need to do something here. Something isn't working, so I can look deeper into that. Can we upload medium content books with a pro subscription like little storybooks? Rosemary, yes. So if you are creating medium content books, low content books, high content books, I've done all of them. Like I have some actual real, books with chapters and everything on Amazon. They do quite well actually, but they take forever to create. So if you're doing anything that's just not a low content book, you can put them together in this Interior Generator Pro here. If you have different internal pages, you just upload the PDFs, and you can get to this page here by going to the home page and clicking on resources, and it's going to be right here. Let's see. Is it possible to export book bulk products into PowerPoint to do the changes, i.e. border? Sharon, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by export book. Maybe it's book bulk products. If you have, let's say you go over here to the interior generator, okay? These are all the interiors we have. If you download these onto your computer, they're going to be downloaded as a PDF, and you can upload those literally anywhere you want. So you could probably upload them in PowerPoint. I've not done that, but you can put them into Google Slides. Google Slides is what I've used, which is pretty much PowerPoint, but a free version. And then you can literally customize them any way you want. So it's a really good way to do that if you aren't super, savvy with different design programs. And I am certainly not one of those people. So that is a good idea. Is there a good ad strategy for KDP? There's going to be different ad strategies depending on what you are doing. We'll go into that further in the future. I know I haven't actually created an ad video yet, but if you go over to our blog here and you type in, let's see, ads. This is a bit of an old post, but pretty much nothing has changed. You should all go here and read this. It's very, 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 very long, but this is going to be probably the best kind of prep that you guys can get in order to run ads that are successful. So I put a lot of material in here so you can understand kind of all of the options and how they all work together. So if you guys have not read this, and since it's an older post, most of you probably have not, go read this. I'll actually link this in chat right now so that you guys can go check it out. But this is going to be a really, really good, almost, it's one blog post, but it's almost like a little miniature course on how to set up ads and start running them. So give that a shot. And when you get into ads, like, just so everyone knows, don't expect to be profitable your first day. You are going to lose a little bit of money. I'm just going to be completely honest with you, but that's part of the learning process. Once you learn kind of how to set your ads up, how they work, how they run, and you optimize them a little bit, all of a sudden it's going to turn profitable, and it's going to be, hey, you put in $1 and you get $2 back. And that is once you do your research and you realize how to put in $1 and get $2 back, it's a money printing machine. But it takes a while, right? So go through here, get familiar, and then just try it out. You really just need to dive in and figure this stuff out. Question. I did my first book using Bookbolt. It says 8.5 by 11. Gave me an error message for book cover. Was off by a tiny little bit. Okay. So for all you guys watching this, if you are using the Bookbolt designer here, okay, and you're using any size, what you have to make sure you're doing is that you pick black and white paper and you pick a page number. Okay, that's for your cover. For the interior, you need to make sure that the page numbers match exactly. If they're off a little bit, it's going to throw an error on KDP. And you also have to make sure that when you're uploading to KDP, you are selecting black and white paper and you're selecting bleed. So everything needs to match up. And I've done this plenty of times where I will start uploading the book and I'll upload all my files and I'll make sure everything is matched up. But something I forgot to click, right? Like maybe I selected, when I was downloading my interior, maybe I selected no bleed instead of bleed, and then something is off. So just double check that everything matches up and it should go through. Let's see here. I had trouble adding. Hold on. I got to scroll back up again. I'm getting lost. Diana, I'm a first-time user. I'm having trouble with KDP. I'm told the size is 13.99 by 10.41. How do I adjust this? I've been working on this since yesterday. So Diana, same thing as Shantae above. You need to make sure that your cover and your interior have the same number of pages. And then when you upload them, you're picking bleed and you're picking black and white paper. So everything needs to match up, because what's going to happen, the reason these dimensions are off a little bit is that if you pick 100 pages and then compare that, let's just say between 100 pages cover and a 250 page cover, your spine width is going to be much, much different, right? Because there's way more pages, so it's going to have a larger spine width, and that is what's probably throwing you off, along with the bleed and paper type. KDP error, your expected cover size is, but the submitted file size is. How do I fix this? Yep, same thing. You guys need to come in here and make sure everything is exactly the same. So if I download a 6x9 at, say, 100 pages with black and white paper, which is right here, I'd come over to BookBolt. All right, I'm going to go to the home page. I'm going to go to Interior Wizard. I'm going to click on one. I'm going to say bleed. This step is important to make sure everything matches up. I'm going to say 6x9. So 6x9 here is going to match the 6x9 here. And I'm going to type in 100 pages, right? And then this file right here, you'll see 4 out of 100. This is the entire PDF. Download this and then upload both of those with black and white paper with bleed to KDP, and they will go through. What do you recommend for custom-made books with people's names on them? What do I recommend for custom-made books with people's names on them? Yeah, those can definitely work, but I would not create 100 books with 100 names and throw them up on KDP and just expect them to start selling, right? I mean, those books do better when you already have a built-in niche. Maybe you have a Facebook page on, people who are named Sarah, like just as a random example. Then absolutely I would create a book about Sarah as the name, notebook, journal, whatever it is, and then sell that. But you are going to have a very, very rough time if you're just spamming KDP. Nothing's going to happen. You're going to get frustrated. So I would definitely make sure you do the research. Make sure there is a built-in audience for the book you want to sell. Otherwise, you need to actually have an audience somewhere else. Facebook group, right? Slack group, Pinterest page, you name it. That is a built-in audience, just an audience you've built rather than shoppers on Amazon. I've not received the update on selling top KDP niches. Rosemary, I'm not sure what update you're talking about. If you could let me know in the chat. Pauline says, how I fix this is to make sure I have the correct number of pages in the template and then download and upload again. Yeah, I mean, guys, it does happen. I mean, even I still make this mistake. You need to make sure that these pages match what you are creating as the cover. Because if you have 101 pages here, the dimensions are going to be off ever so slightly because your spine width is designed for, let's say, 100 pages, but you have 101, and then all of a sudden, oh, that's no good. Amazon's going to say, hey, there's something wrong. And they're not going to tell you exactly what it is. They're going to tell you your dimensions are off. And it's always something to do with the page count, the page color, okay, because they do offer different colors. Or the third thing that could be off is bleed or no bleed. Please, how do we run the ads? I publish 7 books, but I don't know how to market them. Can you advise on the ads procedure? Rosemary, if you go over to the blog, bookbolt.io/blog. So we'll come over here. We'll go to blog, just type in ads, and read through this. This is going to tell you, this will get you your first ad live on Amazon. Super easy. Everyone on KDP has access to their ads, which is super, super helpful. So you can launch a book. If you have a book already live, you can start running ads today. Like while I'm talking, you can go set this up. Super easy. All right, let's see here. Thank you for the ads answer. Of course, having trouble adding a non-puzzle page to a puzzle book. Is that possible at this time to add a text page? So Jessica, if you create a PDF, like a one-page PDF that is, text, maybe you put a QR code on the first page, you can actually come over here to our homepage here and go to the PDF combiner. You can just upload your first page here and your puzzle and then put it together here. And again, you guys need to make sure that you're selecting, bleed and the size. Say you're doing a 6x9, say you're doing 8.5x11. That will format all of those pages correctly for you so that you can have one file and upload that directly to KDP. But I do highly recommend actually adding pages to a puzzle book. It really helps make the puzzle more unique, more personalized, and can also serve as a great marketing tool. What I mean by that is you can actually, if you have a brand, or let's say you have a few puzzle books up, you can actually put a QR code into your first page that says like, hey, let's say you're doing a book for children and you have 5 coloring books for kids. You already have them on KDP. They're already in one brand. The next book you put up, you can put a QR code that when they scan that with their phone, it will go directly to your brand. So they bought one book, they really like it, they scan the code, and all of a sudden they see your 5 other books. Well, what is that going to do? It's going to make sure that it leads to more sales because they're not seeing 10,000 other coloring books. They're just seeing the stuff that's built under your brand. Is there a plan to add even more ready-made templates for users? Casey, so what they are talking about is right here, the interior wizard. We don't have any plans to add any more right now, and the reason for that is we're actually rebuilding the designer over here so that these integrate a lot better and you guys can actually make more customized interiors yourself. Because while these are really, really great, and the reason that we came out with these and we give these to everyone is we want people to use them and get started, but eventually the way you end up going is that you figure out what works and then you start customizing either these interiors or creating your own unique interiors, and then all of a sudden you're competing against no one but yourself. You're the only one who has that custom book on Amazon. Does anyone else find Author Central cumbersome? Yeah, the entire, what's funny is that, Amazon as a whole seems to be kind of, cobbled together. So yes, I find most Amazon pages pretty cumbersome, especially the category tree. Looks like it's stuck straight in the 80s. Let's see, did you say the interior pages can be edited? Shante, if you download these interior pages, then they're PDFs and you can use any PDF editor you want. Probably the easiest way to customize these right now, download them, okay? You have a PDF on your computer, go over to Google Slides, okay? Google Slides is the free alternative to PowerPoint, and you can you have a Gmail account, I'm assuming. If you don't, you can easily create one, log in, and then you can upload that PDF and kind of play around with it in Google Slides. That's true about ads. You will lose in the beginning, but their algorithm will give you great search keywords to implement. Alma, exactly. So the way it works with ads, and we're going to go into this more in a later video, I am emailing out some longer form training videos, and I haven't made the one on ads yet, but one of the best ways to kind of do the ads is to set an ad, to run automatically, okay? And then give it a few days. This is not something you're going to set up once, run for an hour, and be like, now I know exactly what converts, okay? So run it for a few days, and they're going to give you the ability to look at every single keyword and ASIN that the ad ran against. You can see what converted and what didn't. And once you find out what converted, you create yourself a separate sheet. Okay, so a separate sheet of just the stuff that led to sales, and then you run manual ads to those. So you're just running ads to the stuff that is converting rather than the stuff that people clicked on but didn't end up buying, and all of a sudden your conversion rate is going to skyrocket because that's all you're spending money on, and that is how you can make a ton of money. Again, you put $1 in, you get $2 out. That is the definition of a money printing machine. And it's really, really easy to test. You don't have to spend $100 to get this information. Yes, you are going to have to spend a few dollars, okay? But I promise you that is one of the easiest ways that I know in order to quickly test a book. Because sometimes I might put a book up very, very quickly that maybe I worked on it for a while, but I don't really know if it's going to sell. Okay, typically, most of the time I'll know hey, this is a good product. I know there's an audience for it. I've done the research. But sometimes I'm going to a niche that I'm not super familiar with, and I just want to test out hey, do people actually want this product? Boom, throw $5 in ad spend behind it and just see. Philomena, is this recorded? Absolutely. We are recording these. So every single week we're going to do one of these, either Wednesday or Thursday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time or 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Haven't decided yet, but when you guys want to rewatch any of this content, if it's helpful to you, or you're like, hey, maybe I joined late, I want to catch the beginning, just go to weekly calls up here, and they will all be right here. So there's 2 webinars that I highly recommend you guys go through. Here's our first weekly call we did last week, and then right now, this is the one we are doing today. So after we wrap up this video will move right down here, and you'll be able to rewatch anything. Started streaming 16 minutes ago. Let's see. If my book has been on KDP for 3 days and there's no email sent to me, could there be a problem? Grace, I wouldn't worry about it until maybe like a week. Very, very rarely will they take 3 days to actually, put a book live. But after, say, a week, if your book still isn't live, just send them an email. The good thing about KDP is they actually have real people who will respond to your email, so they can actually be very helpful, which is a lot different than a lot of the other Amazon programs out there. But just give it some time, right? Sometimes the books will go through and go live literally within, an hour or two, which is incredible. Other times they're a little bit more bogged down. There's a lot of products being published. So, just be patient. I know that's super hard to hear if you're just getting into this. You want to see your first book live on Amazon, but just be patient and it should go live. The top KDP niches to explore in 2020. Rosemary, if you go to our blog, we've been publishing a lot of content there, kind of to get you started, to get you thinking about KDP books and niches. But if you really want to see, like right off the bat, what is selling well, you can just come over here to the cloud. Don't even type in anything else. There is a category drop down here, and you can see all these books that are selling well, right? Like this one literally just says notebook. It says notebook, and it's selling, hundreds of copies per month. This one right here, graphic paper notebook. Now, am I telling you guys to go into the cloud, look at the top sellers, and just create your own graph paper notebook? Probably not, right? Because if we come over here, let's wait for everything to load in here. This one does not seem to have a look inside, so let's go back to this. Let's click on this one instead. So, this was published a few years ago, 568 ratings. We can look inside. Cute cover, right? This is probably more towards kids, and this is the interior. So notice what they did here is they took a normal interior, just a normal line pages, and this is all they added. I don't know if you guys can see this, but that's a search for word or phrase. It says date, so they added a place to put a date, and they put a few radio buttons for, hey, what day of the week it is. This was their customization right here. Okay, that's all they did, and they have a ton of reviews. They have a hardcover and a paperback book. Okay, you scroll down here, you'll notice it's 120 pages. You'll notice it's 8.5 by 11, and it's selling extremely well. So does that mean that you can do, a line page notebook, add 2 tiny little things to the interior, and all of a sudden, sell super well? No, it does not. Why? Because this book has been around for a while. They have a ton of sales velocity. They have a ton of reviews. So you're going to find it a lot harder to compete with something this easy. Now, their cover is really, really good. If you were to do something like this, you'd want to try out ads. You need to do some marketing. It would be a long haul type of project in order to get to this kind of level. Okay, you don't start off with 568 reviews. It will take you a while to get to this point, but that's kind of the point of the videos we're sending out, doing these weekly calls, is that if you're consistent with uploading products, making sure your research is solid, making sure the products you are uploading are really, really good, right? So this is a super simple looking book. Simple cover, but it looks really nice. Simple interior, it looks really nice. And over time, you start getting sales, you start getting reviews. And once you have books that have, 5, 10, 100 reviews, those are going to be some of the best sellers that you have. And they're not going to stop selling, right? Because you have that sales velocity, and Amazon's going to see, all right, this is a book. This book is selling really well. We're going to rank it high, and that's just not going to go away. Once you're ranked high and you're getting sales, more sales kind of just bolsters that rating, or ranking rather, and you're going to keep making money. So at the beginning, it can be a little bit slow, but just look at where stuff like this is and know that is where you are going. Can we publish notebooks with only lines as your current example? Absolutely. That is how I got started in low content publishing. That is the easiest way to get started. It does not mean you're going to make $10,000 a month the very first week, okay? But it will teach you the process of how to get going. And this is a perfect example right here of, hey, line pages can sell depending on the niche you're going into and depending on how well your cover looks, because people do not shop by the interior. They shop with their eyes and they shop by looking at the cover, okay? Everyone judges a book by its cover. I do it, and I know you guys do it too. I subscribed and paid for it. Rosemary, if you're talking about top niches for 2022 that you subscribed and paid for, that is not with BookBolt. Well, we have never done that. We produce a lot of content on the blog, and we do these calls, and then the software, you can find all of that information on your own. You can download other interiors for the inside of my book with a free website. If you know of a free website that's offering interiors that you can use commercially, then by all means use them. But you need to make sure that the files you guys are using have the right license. Because if you download something and you uploaded it, but you don't have the rights to it, not only can your book be taken down, but Amazon can actually get rid of your KDP account, and no one wants that. Jessica says, where is the combiner? I don't see it. So go to bookbolt.io. Okay, this is the homepage, resources tab right here, and you will see the combiner here. So the Interior PDF Combiner Pro, that is where you can upload and mix and match interiors. And the Interior Wizard is if you just want to download some of the free interiors that we are giving out. Alma says, can you explain a little bit more about the QR code, please? Yeah, so if you go, let me actually do a quick search here. Free QR code generator. All right, let me bring this over so you guys can see it. So this is Google. I typed in free QR code generator. This is the one I've used in examples in the past. Okay, so you'll come over here, and this is what a QR code looks like. All right, so let's say that you are on Amazon, and you're like, hey, I have this brand, Ken Malone. Okay, so we're going to click on this brand, and we're going to visit his author page. So here's his author page. You can see all these books that he's published, and take a look at how well each one of these is doing. All they are is graph paper. Oh, here's an isometric notebook. Let's just say that you are Ken, okay? You're not Ken. Let's say you have your own page, your own brand you've put content up on. You just want to copy this URL, come over to any free QR code generator. I'm using this one, qrcode-monkey.com. There's 1.5 million of these out there. You would just come over here, you'd put in the URL, okay? So here's the Amazon URL. And you would just click. So notice what the code looks like. When I click create code, this is going to change very slightly. There we go. Okay. Download this as a PNG, an SVG, a PDF, whatever you want. And then you put that into a page, and that would be your first page on your notebook. So if I were doing this and this was my brand, again, this is just an example. I download this. The first page of the book, when someone opens it up, would say something like, if you absolutely love this coloring book for kids, or unicorn coloring book for kids, and you're looking for more activities to do while stuck at home, we have 16 other niches. And maybe I would put pictures of, hey, I have a horse coloring book and a sloth coloring book, and that QR code right in the middle. So then they put some marketing material in there. They'd read through it and they'd be like, hey, I really like the look of that sloth coloring book. Boom, they'd scan the QR code. Right? They're brought, once they scan the code, they're brought right over here to your page, not Ken's page, just an example. And then they would see all of your titles, and hey, maybe this is the sloth coloring book, and they'd go and order just your book. So notice how this page right here has no other brand in it. This is all stuff that this guy published. So if he drives traffic to this page, he's not going to lose the sale to someone else. So super powerful stuff there. How does the Placeit mockup integration work? Joe, if you click on the Placeit button inside of the designer, so right here, that's actually going to take you over to Placeit, where you can then, create different mockups, and you would use those not in your book interior, but you'd use those as marketing material, right? Maybe you put those on a Facebook page or a Pinterest page, and it kind of just gives the end user or person that you're marketing to a better mock-up of the product you're selling. So you'd have an image of a book that looks a lot better than, say, if you took a screenshot of this because it looks like an actual book. You'd put that in front of a potential customer with a link to your Amazon page. Wesley, how do I create my own interior template? So the easiest way that I know to do that is inside of the BookBolt Designer. Now, if you are inside of BookBolt, which is right here, in the left corner here, you'd go from Research to Create, click on the Designer, which is right here, and then this page will pop up, and you can actually just go to Interior. Now, when you do that, it's going to have a left page and a right page, and whatever you create on each one of those will be replicated over the number of pages you put here. Okay, so if you're looking to do, 5, 10, 15 different pages, then I would actually use Google Slides. Okay, download, create your interior there, download that as a PDF, and then bring that back over to the PDF combiner here, mix and match, and then put together your interior. Amazon Seller Central is the 7th level of hell. Joe, that is absolutely the truth. Seller Central is an absolute disaster. It took me forever to find out where things are, and they're constantly changing, right? I mean, that's something about KDP that I really like. Most of their dashboard doesn't really change all that much. So once you learn what you're doing, you're probably pretty good for at least a few years. Are there any other benefits to upgrading to Pro besides PuzzleWiz? Pauline, no. So PuzzleWiz, for you guys who are watching this, if we, I need to close some of this stuff out. So I keep getting lost here. All right, so if you're inside of BookBolt here, if you go, here's what the side normally looks like. You'd go to Create. You have PuzzleWiz over here. You do need a Pro level subscription, but that is going to allow you to create puzzle interior pages, so Sudokus, mazes, Hangman, word search, stuff like that. I find that puzzle books sell really, really, really well, depending on how you put them together, right? I'm a fan of activity books, which is simply mixing and matching different puzzle interiors. But I can't create puzzles myself in, any other program. It would take me absolutely forever to do them. So we offer PuzzleWiz in order to help you guys create that stuff quickly so you can focus on the research. But you do need a Pro level subscription, but that is the only thing that a Pro level subscription would give you is access to this. Everything else, a normal subscription will work. This video will be available. This video will be available to us later, right? I want to re-listen several times. Jesus Girl for Life, absolutely. So if you log into BookBolt later on tonight, tomorrow, whenever it is, you click on weekly calls at the very top here. They will all be right here. So every week, they're going to show up here so you guys can watch any of this content. As time goes on, there's going to be a lot more videos in here because we're going to do this weekly. I will do my best to title these. This one, I'm not sure I'm going to give this a title. I just called it, the live call number 2. But we're going to put them right here inside of BookBolt so that we build a library kind of answering all these questions so that we can get you guys going in the right direction. Or if you get stuck, right? I mean, I know selling on Amazon can be a little daunting at first, but I promise you guys there's definitely a way forward. Great, thank you. Please, where do we set up the ads? Rosemary, if you log into KDP, now I'm not logged in right now. If you log into KDP, you'll see your dashboard right below, you want to upload a paperback, you want to upload a hardcover, you'll see all of your books, and there should be 3 little dots next to each book. Click on that, and you will see an ad option. In your opinion, what is the fastest way to get started and make money? Is it journals, notebooks, coloring books? Joe, that's going to depend on your skill set, to be honest, right? You can make money in literally everything. Journals, notebooks, coloring books, puzzle books, activity books. You can make money in long form books, right? I mean, that's literally how I got it started with KDP 10 years ago, was I created long form books. It's going to come down to what your skill set is. Can you create coloring books? I can't. Personally, I cannot create a coloring book. I don't have any artistic ability in that form, but I do know how to hire people that do, right? So, I mean, it really depends on what you're doing. The fastest way to get started, though, is make sure that you are finding a niche that has demand, right? You can create the best journal, the best coloring book, the best notebook, but if no one is out on Amazon actually looking for that particular item, well, then you're out of luck, right? Like you just wasted a bunch of time. You might think it's really cool, but we're in this as a business. So that's number one, is make sure there's actual demand. But number two is actually finding the demand in niches that don't have 10,000 other sellers, right? Because at the end of the day, we are all competing against each other. We're all looking for niches where we can sell in, that we're not competing with everyone else. But if you can find stuff that has smaller competition and has demand, that's the easiest way to make money. So I know that's probably not the answer you were looking for, but that is what I would focus the majority of the time on. Where is the blog, please? So come over to right here, homepage of BookBolt, and it's right here, blog. bookbolt.io/blog. A lot of stuff in here. A lot of stuff. If I were you guys and you've not read this, I mean, I wrote most of this content. I would start at the very back of the line here. So come down here. I'd start with this one right here. Okay. Now, we published this a few years ago, and I'd start working my way up because there's so much good information here that will, it'll probably spark a little bit of an idea in your head of, hey, maybe I was doing X, but here's a different way to think about it. Maybe I should try that in my KDP business, and this stuff works. Okay, so a lot of content. Go through all of this if you haven't, but I promise there's something in this blog for everyone. I'm more of a writer, less than, a video person. That's why I decided we should start doing more videos every week. So this is a lot of information in here. You guys should definitely go through. Can you purchase your own books before it's listed on Amazon? You can purchase your own books. They're called author copies, but I probably would not do that. The reason being, I'd probably publish it on Amazon first, and then you can set it to a low price and then buy it that way. That's probably what I would do, but you can do author copies too. I know a lot of people do author copies depending on where they're selling. Bonnie Holmes. Hi, Neil. Just wanted to know if it's a good idea to post a link on Facebook to market your books. Does it cause your book to get pushed further back if people just look at it? So Bonnie, yes and no. Right, so Amazon is going to love if you drive your own traffic because they are self-serving. So what I mean by that is Amazon is a business. The more traffic they get, the happier they are, the more chances that they can make money. Okay, so posting a link on Facebook, any kind of Instagram, you name it, to your product is going to drive more viewers. But I wouldn't just post it to, like, let's say you had a unicorn coloring book and you're in a gardening Facebook group. I would not post my unicorn coloring book in a gardening Facebook group. Yeah, you might get, 100, 200, 300 clicks, but none of those are going to convert because it just doesn't match up to the audience. And if Amazon sees a bunch of traffic coming in and not converting, they can and will push you to the back because they want to display the top converting products. Okay, because that's why they make money. So if you guys remember in the back of your head, Amazon is a self-serving business. They want to make more money. That influences all of their decisions, literally all of them. Okay, so just keep that in the back of your mind when you're thinking about your marketing strategy, what you're putting in your covers, your interiors, and that should serve you guys pretty well. KDP says my short story is missing a table of contents. It has a table of contents but no chapters because of the story length. How do I get past this error? Ashley Gray 83. I have not published any long form content or short stories in quite some while. So I'd probably recommend contacting KDP about that. You might have to put in different chapters. Not sure though. How do you suppose the Axetal notebook found that niche? I think I closed that out, Joe. But how would they find that niche? I mean, just by looking around, right? I mean, they may have started at one thing, and that's what I'll often do, right? Like I'll be on Amazon, I'll start at one thing, and I'll end up at something completely different. So it just takes some time with research to find those niches, keep digging around until you find something that interests you and interests everyone else. Do we promote our live books immediately and how? Grace, you can promote your live books immediately as long as they're live on Amazon. But me personally, I would wait to make sure that Amazon has pushed the product live and to make sure that it's indexed properly. So you can run ads, okay? So that's something we talked about at the very beginning. You can post your stuff on social media. If you post your things across social media, the faster it is going to get indexed. So just keep that in mind because there's more backlinks pointing to it. But that's just something you kind of want to play around with. Where can we find templates for inside interiors that we can be used commercially? You can buy some on Etsy. I think there's some other kind of marketplaces. I don't really do that, okay? I use our free interiors. So from the home page here, if you go to the Interior Wizard and you go here, I use a bunch of these. That's how I got started. And then I didn't want to be buying and messing with other licenses. So, we offer all this stuff for free. We want you guys to use this. You're not going to have any problem editing or selling these. We're not coming after you. That's why we publish these. Once you learn what you're doing, though, I'd either create your own interiors inside of the designer right here, interior, or I would figure out how to hire someone who can create interiors. And I promise you guys, if you aren't creating your own interiors and you are thinking about starting, if you know what you're doing and you know the business model, hiring people to do this, they can do 10 times better of a job in 10 times less time than you can. Okay? So just think about that as you are going through the business. What's the slide you ask us to use for editing? Grace, I'm not sure what you mean. If you could maybe rephrase that in the comments below. Suppose I PDF upload a letter size into the combiner. Will the system adjust it to the size I want, 5x8? Paula, yeah, so if you are... Sorry, I keep jumping back and forth here, guys. If you are here, and you go here, and you change this, let's say it's 5x8, and you upload your own version that is a different size, this will resize all of the pages in here to whatever you selected here. Now, does that mean it's always going to look perfect? No, because we do have to resize it. So when you download it, make sure you're looking at all the pages and it looks right if you're uploading different sizes into this PDF combiner. If our book is already live on KDP, can we still edit the cover? I have not actually done that. I believe you can. But don't quote me on that because I, knock on wood, have not found a cover that is messed up yet. But the way you can find out is if you have a live book, just go into KDP, click on edit, and see what you can edit there. Do you recommend building a funnel? Depends on what you mean by a funnel. Okay, so there's lots of marketing strategies. We were going over QR codes earlier. What you can do instead of linking your QR code to, say, a Amazon brand page is you can actually create a little bit of marketing inside your book. So let's say they get the book, they open it up, they see your marketing, they see your QR code. That QR code can go to any link you want on the internet. So what it could do, hint, hint, is that it could go to an email list, right? And you can say, hey, thanks so much for buying my book on Amazon. Sign up to this email list, and maybe you'll get 3 free coloring pages. Okay, so they get a digital coloring page. You don't have to sell them anything, but all of a sudden you get their email, and now all of a sudden you can market to them over and over and over again because they're interested in the content you're putting out. So if that's what you mean by funnel, then I'd absolutely recommend doing that, but it really just kind of depends on where you guys are headed. How can I fine-tune graphics on our covers? I found the editing options are extremely basic, and I can't outline a shape for a composition notebook. Sierra, or let's see, or on images, I can't erase the background to blend with the cover. Let me see if I have an image here, and I'll show you. So, let's see, images. Do I have one with a darker background in here? That already has a background. Let's see. I'm trying to find one that, here we go. Okay, so let's start with your first question, right? So you can import an image into the designer here, and let's say this one has a white background, okay? That looks horrible. We want just the bike. What you can do is actually come up here and play around with the different colors. Now, this is an SVG, right? You can click this one. You can change each individual color. But if you have, this is an SVG, right? So you can't really remove the background here. What you'd want to find is, I don't think I have one. this is the way it would work if you did have one. I don't see on my computer something with a light or background that isn't an SVG, but what you want to do is you would want to upload an image here, and you'd come up here, you see filters, you see remove background. It looks like a little flask, right? Science flask. You'd click this, and you'd say, hey, what color background does this have? Now, this is not the best example because I don't have one ready to go, but let's say this had a black background to it. You'd select dark, and you would play around with this, and it would remove the background from your image. Same thing if you're using an SVG, kind of like we talked about before. You'd come up here and you actually could change all of these colors, right? So you can come over here, you could select something, fill it with whatever color you want, okay? Maybe this. You can add stroke to all of this, and once you're done, you just click on this save button, and then it would look like this. Now, this is not a good example, I know, guys. Sorry, I don't have an image ready to go, but what you want to do, add your images over here, click on them, and depending on what type of image it is, it will have different options in the very top menu. All right, let's see here. Does BookBolt have a genealogy page? I'm new, I can't find it. Surely, I don't believe we do. You'd probably want to create that one on your own. You recommend sending people to the Amazon author page if you already have a website. Me personally, if that is the direction you're going, I would want to send people to a website first because you can do so much more. You can create email lists on your own website. You can create more marketing to the users that are showing up on your website. You can better convert a user because on Amazon, right, you only have so much space to actually try to sell the product. But on your own website, the possibilities are pretty much endless. Can we upload more images on the listing? Yes, you can. We actually did a blog post about that with A+ content, so check that out. It's on the blog, bookbolt.io/blog. Is there a way to download the interior page as PowerPoint? Do you have a PowerPoint add-in? Height of Hope Ministries, there's not a way to download it as a PowerPoint right now. We have all of these set to download as a PDF because that is how you upload them directly to Amazon. So the answer is no, but you can edit these PDFs in any kind of PDF editor you may have. You want to revise a previously uploaded book. Can we delete the book on Amazon, or is the revision uploaded as a second book? Kim, you'd want to go in and click, once your book is live, click the three little dots, click edit book, and then you can go in and see what options they allow you to edit. Now, if you really messed up, something's really wrong with the book, maybe you have a review or two that's 1 star and people are complaining at you, I would personally probably just, get rid of that book and start fresh. Bonnie, thank you, Neil. This is so great having a place like this for beginners to ask questions without feeling like you're irritating someone. Bonnie, absolutely. That's the entire point of this. Like, listen, I know we're bouncing around from a lot of things, right? Like, I'm going from the designer and I'm going inside a BookBolt. I'm going talking about this. And I'm bouncing around to Amazon. And I know that can seem overwhelming, but everyone is at a different point in their Amazon journey. So the entire point of these weekly calls is to make sure you guys are on the right track no matter where you are, so that we can put up content and make money through selling books. Is there a Facebook group or WhatsApp going? There is not. Yeah, and the reason for that is that, Facebook groups typically get a little bit out of control. Everyone is asking the same thing 48 times. And we just thought it would be a lot easier to do these weekly calls instead of having a group. How do you suggest we find the demand? How do you do it? So if we just head over to, let's see, let me bring this page over here, Amazon.com, and let's just type in sloth coloring book, okay? What I'll typically do is I'll come in here, and let's just say I'm looking at a niche, right? I mean, I use this niche as an example quite often because you'll see at the very top here, there's 1,000 results. Now, what I like to do is install the KDP Spy extension. Now that you can get to that from here, okay? It's right here in the upper menu here. And it's also down here in the Research KDP Spy. It's a Chrome extension. So if you install that and you do a search on Amazon Amazon.com, okay, not DE or UK or something. So don't install this extension and go to a different locale and then tell me it's broken, because it just works on .com. You do a search. I did a search for Sloth Coloring Book, and I'm just going to click Start now that it's back. Okay, and this will start running through these results. I'm going to stop this just so I can show you guys. I can actually say, hey, how many sales are the top books making? Okay, that's a lot of sales. That is a lot of sales. I can come down here, I can see, all right, what's actually selling. Now, notice how this is not a Sloth Coloring Book. So right away, I'm starting to get more ideas. Now, why am I getting more ideas? Why is this even coming back when I'm running this? Is because Amazon is kind of indexing different keywords that they've used in the back end. Maybe they're in the title. Now, this is Drinking Animals Coloring Book. There's probably a sloth in that book. Okay, so I can actually click on this, which will head over to the page, which we'll look at in a minute. And I can see it's making about 594 sales based on this very, very low sales rank. It's high. All right, so I can read through this Drinking Animals Coloring Book. I can click it. It's already open here. My God, it has almost 7,000 ratings. Okay, I can take a look at the cover. Awesome cover. This is for probably adults. Okay, and look at this. Stress relieving animal designs with easy cocktail recipes. Now, I haven't actually looked at that particular line before, but look what they did. They just took a coloring book and they mixed it with a recipe book for drinks. Okay, so just taking two different niches. And I can come down here and see exactly, what does this book look like? Looks pretty awesome, right? But does that mean we should actually go into Drinking Animals Coloring Book? Probably not. So let's copy that. Let's search it. Now notice how I'm searching in just books here, and I'm getting over 5,000 results. If we went back to Amazon, notice how it's all. We'll put that in there. And now we're at 166 results. So that's just showing you that Amazon's indexing a little bit weird. Okay, this is a sponsored ad. So again, they found a book that sells really well and they're marketing it. They're running ads to it. So next thing I do is I'd look at this and I'd say, all right, 166 results. That's really low, but is that truly how many results there are? Let's go to the third page. 166. Okay. Scroll all the way down, go to another page. This is not changing. So that's a really good sign. So let's go back here and let's change this to, and where are books? Right there. All right. Okay, there's 5,000 results for Drinking Animals Coloring Book, and we can come down here and we'll see all of the different results that are available. Okay. Now, what are you guys noticing right away? The reason that this is so high, there's over 5,000 results, is because not all of these books are related to drinking animals. Okay? This just says Yoga Puppies, adult coloring book. So what Amazon is doing is saying, hey, I can't find a bunch of results for Drinking Animals Coloring Book, so I'm going to start looking at pieces of the keyword phrase. And so Drinking Animals Coloring Book, and this one says coloring book, adult coloring book, puppies, that's an animal. So Amazon's trying to piece this together. But if you look through these results, right, like coloring book, amazing patterns is what this one says. Okay, this is in German. So looking directly at this doesn't always give you the best idea of what is actually going on, which is why I typically will look at all. Okay, I'd search this, I'd look at this, I'd go to the next couple of pages, actually look through the results. So like this is a sponsored ad, right? Sponsored. But it says, hey, you're so great. Does this look like Drinking Animals? No, it doesn't. This one does. Okay. And there's only 166 results. So if you were artistically talented, you did your research, you found, hey, this stuff is selling really well. Yes, it has a ton of reviews. Yes, it's been published for a while. But if you can come up with unique stuff, because I mean, just looking at this book here, bring this up again, they mixed coloring with cocktail recipes. Like this is sort of the out-of-box thinking that you need to do. You put something unique together for yourself, and bam, okay? You found low competition and high demand. Why do we know there's high demand? Well, we looked right here. It's selling incredibly well. It has a ton of reviews, okay? And something else I'll do too, and this is kind of off topic a little bit. not related to the demand, but you can actually click on the reviews and I will sort them by the worst reviews. Okay, so trying to find out what customers that actually bought the book don't like, and is there anything that I can do as a seller to fix that in my own unique version. So it came all crushed up. Can you do anything about that? No, you can't. Totally not as described. There's not 52 pages in this book. There's 24. Okay, so, maybe not leaving blank pages might be something that we want to do. It's a drink book you can color. Okay, if you're making any of the drinks in the book, most likely you won't be coloring it too. This is kind of a dumb review. Came ripped, nothing you can do. So you're looking for opportunities while looking through these bad reviews. This is terrible. Thin, non-perforated pages. I mean, that's KDP. They don't have perforated pages. Poor quality, wasn't impressed. Kind of dumb pictures. All right, so I mean, you're looking for opportunity when you're going through this kind of stuff. But that's kind of the process that I would do. I mean, I know I went through that really, really fast. If you want me to go through it a lot slower, come to the weekly calls, watch these 2 videos right here. They're quite long, but they're very much in depth. Can you demonstrate finding a niche with lower competition? Kind of just already went through that. Do you have a customer service number? We do not, but if you want to put in a help ticket, you can do so through the top menu of BookBolt. So just come over here to BookBolt and right here, support. How can I upgrade to Pro from what you are? If you don't see a pop-up, Christopher, inside of the software, again, just drop us a help ticket and they would be happy to do that for you. If the document is a free printable, would it be free of copyright? Rosemary, you'd have to look at the license. I mean, without looking at it and reading through it, I do not know if it would be, free of copyright. So, like, you might find a free printable of John Travolta. Okay, does that mean that you have the rights to use that on KDP? Absolutely not. All right, so you have to read through the license, and you also have to think like, hey, do I own this intellectual property? Can I use this intellectual property? Would this sell if I was not using this intellectual property? I believe Graceman Google Slides. Okay, what is the size of the line notebook? Is it 6 by 9 inches? For any line notebooks here, you can do pretty much any size that KDP offers. So I'll just show you. Go to Resources, Interior Wizard, click the blue button, pick whatever you want. Okay, music sheets, line notebooks. It's like Bleed, and here are all the sizes that you can pick. Thank you. How often does BookBolt release new interiors? Greta, we don't have any plans to release new interiors here. We're kind of pushing towards more of, we're redesigning the designer. I know I've mentioned this a few times so that you guys can more easily create custom interiors yourself, because that is where the most money is. But if you're just getting started, I'd use some of these, learn the process, and then once you get a little further along, you know how to make sales, you know what will sell, I'd highly recommend looking into creating your own custom ones. Let's see here. May have been asked, but how can you download your templates to Canva to create covers? I have no idea really how to use Canva because I use the designer in here. So you can download the templates right here. There will be PDF files and you can bring those anywhere you want. But I actually just create all my covers right here. So this is the BookBolt designer. You get to that right here. Use the drop-down menu to create and click on the designer. And then in here, this is the first page you'll see, create covers or interiors. I arrived late. That's no problem. We're just going to start wrapping this up here. We've been going for about an hour, it looks like. Pretty good turnout today. But if you missed any part of this, again, you can go to weekly calls in here inside of BookBolt, and they will all be right here, so you guys can rewatch them. The chat will load on the replay, but it does take YouTube quite a while to enable that, maybe 24 hours or so. So keep that in mind. Let's see, Loretta, I have published 6 books and I'm advertising them. I have only 38 impressions, no click, no sales, and have been running ads for a little over a week. It's a bit discouraging. So, Loretta, good point. If you have 6 books and you're advertising them and you have 38 impressions, that's going to mean 2 things. One, did you do an automatic campaign? So an automatic campaign with Amazon is going to mean that they decide what keywords and ASINs to run your ads against. Okay, so that is the first thing I do, is make sure you don't have a manual campaign going, because right off the bat, you don't know which keywords are going to work or convert. But make sure it's an automatic campaign. And the next thing I do is I look at your CPC, which stands for cost per click, how much you are willing to pay for someone to click on your ad. The reason that's important is that Amazon Ads works like a lottery. Okay, so if you are only willing to spend 5 cents a click, but let's say I'm over here in the same niche you are, and I'm like, I'm willing to spend $5 per click. Well, whose ad do you think Amazon's going to show, yours or mine, right? They're going to favor the one who's willing to spend more money. So your CPC, I'd start bumping it up slightly. I'd bump it up maybe 5 to 10 cents, depending on the niche you're in. Let that run for a few days. See if you have any changes, again, with an automatic campaign, and just keep tweaking that until you get more impressions, more clicks, which leads to sales. And once you have that running, you figured out which keywords work to convert. Take that list, start a manual campaign. You'll end up spending less money for more conversions. Can't seem to get the keyword tab to work on KDP Spy. The search circle just continues to go around, not producing any results. So, Bonnie, if you're talking about KDP Spy right here, for the keywords, you want to make sure that the keyword is, very, very open-ended and not very long. So if we just typed in like, dog notebook, okay, we'll open up KDP Spy. It's going to pull the keyword from here, and we'll search these out. So we'll give this a second. Right here, all of a sudden, all of these come back. Now, if you have something that says like dog notebook for kids age 3 to 4, coloring pages, blah, 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 and it's really, 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 really long, you're not going to have any suggestions here. It's going to get stuck just kind of like searching out keywords. So that is what I would do there. How many books should I publish and how often? I heard it's a numbers game. Loretta, it is a numbers game, but it is a quality game even more, right? I mean, you can publish 10,000 line journal pages that say one word on the front. Does that mean you're going to see any sales from that? Probably not, right? So you should publish as many books as you can that are high quality and that have customer demand. If they're not high quality and they don't have customer demand, I'm just going to be honest, do not waste your time. So there's no like set rhyme or reason. Do your research, create excellent, unique products, and publish those. All right, I'm going to answer the next few questions, guys, and we're going to wrap this up because it's been a little bit over an hour. About niches, have you run into copyright issues when you create a cover based on a popular brand using characters that look similar? Rachel, I do not create books on popular brands with characters that I don't own. That is going to get you in trouble. It will get you kicked off KDP, and you're going to be very upset once that happens. Now, is Amazon going to catch you immediately? Probably not. But you know what's going to happen? If you are ripping off other brands, you're creating, like Donald Duck. If you have a Donald Duck related coloring book, are you going to get kicked off right away? No. But eventually they're going to ban you. And all that money you made isn't going to show up in your bank account. So the first thing you have to do is make sure you're not publishing intellectual property that you don't own, okay? Not only will that get you kicked off of Amazon, but that can get you in a lot of legal trouble too. So, not a lawyer, but don't do it. You use commercially free images that say free for commercial use, no attribution required. Philomena, yes, you can, but again, read the license. Make sure the license is Creative Commons, allows you to publish things for commercial use. And if you read the license and it says, yes, you can, kind of like what you mentioned, you can absolutely do that. Thanks so much. See my question above, NC142. Please, you missed it. Thanks. KC, let me scroll up here. Let's see. Maybe an SF4. Can you download templates to Canva? Yeah. I think I did talk over this one. I don't know how to use Canva. You can use the templates that you download. They are PDF files. You can upload those anywhere you want to edit them. But I personally do not use Canva, so I don't know. Paula, great session. Maybe an ask, how can you download your template? Oh, yeah. Just answer that one. Download the PDFs, and you are free to use the PDFs anywhere you want. All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap this one up. It's been about an hour. This will be inside of BookBolt up here in weekly calls. if you guys have any questions going forward, okay, let's say you watch this, you watch it tomorrow, you're uploading books, you're doing your research, anything you get stuck on, we're going to be doing these every single week. Wednesday or Thursday, either this time that we started today, which is 10 a.m. Mountain, or 11 a.m. Mountain time, every single week on Wednesday or Thursday. So just any questions that you guys have, write them down, okay? Want to help you get over that hump, move forward in your business, and, get you guys going in the right direction. So that's the entire process behind these videos. They're going to be about an hour long. I don't want these to be too long because then they kind of drag on, but we're going to do one each and every week. Okay, so if I missed your question, I'm sorry. I ran through these kind of one by one, but the chat is doing pretty well today. So thank you all again for watching till the end, and I will catch you guys next week. Have a great day. Oh, and happy St. Patrick's Day for anyone out there celebrating.